Today I'll talk about voyages in space in our solar system in Indian science fiction. The first voyage in Indian science fiction is Chandralok ki Yatra, The Voyages of the Moon by Kesav Prasad Singh, published in the magazine Saraswati Part First in June 1900. It was thought to be the first science fiction, but was later placed in the second position. It echoes Jules Verne's 5 weeks in the balloon, as the protagonist also traveled by balloon. But Jules Verne was highly influenced by Edgar Allan Poe and was proud of it. Poe's Balloon Hoax 1844 has been translated by Baudelaire, and after reading it, he wrote 5 weeks in the balloon. But in Kesav Prasad Singh, science fiction, we find complete Indianization and our culture. In 1960, eminent literary novelist Acharya Chitrasen's Shastri wrote the novel Khagras, based on moon. The protagonist in the spacesuit lands on the moon's dark side. He found the remains of the ancient civilization. It is a bit realistic story, as he does not find water and air and no living beings on the moon. His ship was damaged and he returns to the earth on a comet, make it a bizarre sensational story. I wrote Chandrama Par Khoj, Discovery of the Moon in 2008. It is also a realistic story based on moon colonization. I wrote science fiction Chandrama Par Khoj, Discovery of the Moon in 2008. It is also a realistic story based on moon's colonization. The author suspects water present on the moon and utilizing it and other material discovered there, the team of the astronauts set up the colony there. Now Chandrayaan indicated the presence of the water. In the story, an alien steals the apparatus that makes a man invisible, and a team chases the alien on the moon to get it back. And Dr. Rajiv Ranjan Upadhyay's story with Chandrama Se Aaye, they came from Chandrama, from the moon. A colony was set up on the moon called Brithsamat Polis in Copernicus Valley. And from there, scientists plan to go to Mars and busy in mining. In the story Mafia, he coined a new term, lunar biodynamics. The company manufactures several medical products on the moon with a 100% purity. Biogen company invents a new medicine that control criminals or the mafia in one of the branches. In the story Attraction, two aliens arrived at Heidelberg Street on the moon, visit Zenith sitting in a memory activation show, and ask her to activate their lost memory. They were attracted by Zenith and tried to influence her. In his story Mohabang Disillusionment, John Cook arrives on the moon after making the northern Milky Way trip. After seeing the low progress of humanity, he returns to moon as he is disillusioned. In the story Isi Dharapar, on the moon, man cannot forget the earth, whether he is living on Mars or the moon, where he is busy terraforming the planet or the moon. In the story Electrosras, King Paloma, a lover of cybernetics, orders his engineers to build an artificial moon, but the computers on the moon, after reading the misspelled word, makes a living Electrosaurus, a huge dinosaur who tried to kill the king. On the moon's valley, in the Rajiv Ranjan Upadhyay's another story, on the moon's abysmal valley, the organizer of the SETI program, picking the signals from a nebula, fits in the Bodhiyan radio telescope. Besides the above, Vishnu Prasad Chaturvedi wrote the story Chand Par Chori, the theft of the moon, and another story Chand Par Char Din, 4 days on the moon. Now I'll talk about Indian science fiction on Mars. Dr. Om Prakash Sharma wrote a novel, Mangal Yatra, The Journey of the Mars, in 1959. In the novel, at a ready-made baby production center, children are born in glass bottles. In the future, sperm and ova will be artificially synthesized by physico-chemical process, and the resulting embryo will be developed in glass bottles instead of womb in a woman. There is no difference in men and women on Mars as far as sex is concerned. The women on Mars haven't any womb. Men and women are sterile on the Mars and are proud of it instead of ashamed of it. They have no maternal or paternal love there. Another novel he wrote on the Mars is Mahamanav Ki Mangal Yatra. Ramesh Verma wrote Sindhuri Grah Ki Yatra, The Voyages of the Red Planet. The team of astronauts starts their journey from the space station. First they reach Phobos and from there on Mars. On Mars, they found water on the polar regions in the crevices. It soon vanished and appeared again the following summer. It's somewhat a realistic story. They also find grass spread near water, but they do not see any living creatures there. In Harish Goyal's Kayakalp Mars 2009, Mars was terraformed by using nanotechnology. The Earthborn Martian is now called only Martians. On the Earth, owing to wars, pollution, and scarcity of water, now the Earth people want to migrate to the Mars But on Mars, there is no sufficient water to accommodate Earth people. And now Martians are afraid that Earth people can wage war against them. In another Martian novelette, Operation Mars, a galactic emperor from Cygnus B wages a war against Martians, but Prince Lyra Fomalart of the rebellion group helped Martians and saved the planet. In his science fiction, aliens say Mutbed encounters with the aliens. To save Mars from the aliens, the Martians make a huge preparation. They knew about the aliens' intention while making a trip to space. On Mars, Noel Bihaरी Misra wrote मंगल की पहली यात्रा. In Dr. Rajiv Ranjan Upadhyay's Vega, Paulo and Vipasa, the scientists of the Bhaskar second laboratory of the Mars Police on the planet Mars, set out on an expedition in search of life. They find strange creature on the surface of the Mars of the Vega. In the story Loha Bakshi, Iron Devour, scientists from the Bhaskar region of the Mars get a species of sea bacteria which is generally found in RBC of the human body, destroy the iron element contained in the cells, makes the human dead. Point Salma is the another story of the accidents that happened to the scientists coming from the moon to Mars. In Manish Mohan Gauri's story Prithvi Putra, half the population is transferred to Mars due to Earth's increasing population. But the Earthborn Martian intend to kidnap the Earth scientists.